What is going on, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a deck profile of Murakumo, but this time we have Shy. Yeah, he's the first time on our channel. He's gonna break down his build for Murakumo, and he's gonna take it away.
What's up? Okay, so this is Murakumo. One of the better decks in Butterfly. It's pretty good against Lure too. So first up, for the VR, you run 4 of every VR in every deck. So it's really good. Its first skill is Counter Blast, Soul Blast 1, Clone 2 on your field from deck or drop. So you can deck in a lot with this card, and you're gonna see a rare grade 2 that synergizes really well with it. It basically lets you get any piece you want. So once you ride him, the deck is super consistent. The main problem the deck has is riding him. So other than that, you run the second Yasuie, so Tenma. His rearguard skill is when he attacks, he gets 10, and end of the battle he bottom decks something. So he's your main beater. You ride him with Yasuie, so you get 3 drop checks a turn, and then you also want to keep him on rear to swing and wipe stuff out. So you run 4 of him because if you don't see him, you kind of break. You can't re-ride unless he's in the drop zone. So he's also your strongest beater if you break. Then you run 3 Nudos. Japan runs 4. I just like 3 because I break a lot. So if there's a clone of this card on the field, it gets boost, and then in the turn it goes into soul and you draw. You have 5 rear guards. So there's a awkward ruling with this card where if you a lot of people don't know what to happen if you have 2 on the board and then 1 gets sucked in. Both of them can go off if you have enough rear guards because it doesn't check for the same for a clone of the unit at the end of the turn. So he's good for drawing. Your soul gets really big, and then you play 1 of this card because it's restricted to 1. But it's too broken to cut out, and honestly, you have space in grade 1s to run the support card for it. So this deck uses this card offensively because of this grade 2 called Awazu. This card is when placed, search your deck for a card, mill it, and then you get its name. So you can use your VR or your Tenma to clone Shirayuki using this rare. So it becomes super consistent, even though it's a 1-of you see it really often. You just use it more offensively than defensively because of that. So speaking of grade 2s, you run 4 of this guy, Awazu, because of that. So again, it's when placed. Search your deck for something, put it in drop, and you get its name. So if you have this card in your hand, you effectively have your whole deck in your hand. It's really good. You love having it. It's pretty self-explanatory, just really good. And then for your other grade 2s, kind of the low light of this deck, it's all just beaters. This card is, if you have a clone of it, it gets 5k in resist. It's just a beater. And then your other slot is Fushimi. This is another beater. It gets 5 if you have 4 more rear guards. And when placed, you can let something attack your back row. So this card is a really hard counter to DI, because DI likes putting Killer Tail in their back row in the first turn, and you can just ride this swing. You deny them Counter Blast, and you potentially kill their Killer Tail. So I run it for that. Once the promo comes out that gets 10k, you run that instead of these grade 2s. Grade 1s, self-explanatory. You run 4 grade 3 searchers. Its 5k skill is if you have a clone on the board, it gets 5. So pretty much always goes off, and you have to ride your VR or you lose, so you run 4 of those. And then you run 4 Takehime. This is the Yasuie support card. So when you ride it on V, check top 7 for either Yasuie and add it. And then its rearguard skill, which is super good, is when you ride a Yasuie, you counterblast and clone something from your drop zone. So that is just super good because when you superior ride into Tenma, however many open counterblasts you have, you can just flood your board with more attacks with this card. So they can think you're about to hit them with 8 attacks, but you hit them with like 10. It's just crazy. It wins games. This card is amazing. Probably the best grade 1 in the deck. And then you run 4, or 3, sorry, Shirayuki grade 1. This card just fetches it from drop. So once you see Shirayuki once, you can just call this and shove in soul and just keep farming and using it defensively. So Shirayuki works really well with this deck. It's like it was made for it, to be honest. So other than that, it's kind of a dead grade 1 if your Shirayuki isn't in drop, but Murakumo doesn't have that many options. So this is the best starter.
That's what you said. Now I'm scared.
Then for triggers, I run 8 fronts. Against MLB, and other force decks, sometimes they damage a trigger and you lose. So you need fronts to stay in the game for that situation. Other than that, a lot of your columns tend to be like just 14k or 19k. So a front is kind of a GG in that situation. It's just really good when you hit a front. So you have so many front row rear guards that it becomes worth it. Then I only play 3 draw sentinels because a lot of people like to no guard your first Yasuie swing, and sometimes you can meme drive check the crit sentinel, so that's why I run 1 crit. I pretty much always run 1 crit on front trigger decks just for the meme, so people fall for it. And then 4 heals, because if you don't play heals, you're never going to win. So that's pretty much the deck.
Okay. Now, question: what is your opinion with Murakumo standing up to Luard, which comes on at the end of this month?
It's pretty good because one of Luard's main weaknesses is removal, and Tenma removes them pretty well. They can also come back from taking a lot of damage because Yasuie loves a lot of open counterblast. If you have this grade 1 in your hand or on the field, you can potentially make a bunch of attacks and just drain Luard's hand. So draining his hand with the field removal from Tenma means it's a pretty good matchup. You also get a huge hand to guard their gigantic attacks, so it does alright for an Excel deck.
Yeah, sounds like you're ready. And any chances there, any fear of Aqua Force or Green Natures that are coming out pretty soon? Because so far they'll reveal.
Yeah, this deck will probably do okay against Aqua Force if it doesn't kill it in the first grade 3 turn. Because removal always does really well against Aqua Force, so as long as you can live, you can do fine, honestly. It just depends on getting your pieces out fast enough.
Sounds good, son. Sounds good. Alright, well, thank you, Shai. Thank you for your deck profile. Remember, guys, to comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Deuces.